Thank you very much, Victor, and thank you, Dirk, for the excellent presentation. Sorry, my internet is not so good, so I will not use my video. Just to follow up what Andrew Mweba has said, just briefly, so I'll just indicate how the bank operates. Yes, we have two windows, one for private sector and one for public sector. So what we actually do with the public sector, we focus on supporting member countries in Africa to develop enabling environment, including policy. So that's what we do with our public sector window. With the private sector window, we deploy that to support private sector commercially oriented investments. And I noticed from your presentation, actually, you've been following what we are doing. And as you say, this kind of operation has evolved over time. But maybe you may not be up to date now. But what we do in terms of our interventions, especially what we call the non-sovereign, where we focus on private sector operations, for every investment we make, we have to do what we call ex-ante analysis. It's not only after the project closes. We have a whole project cycle evaluation. From the time we do the investment, we have to make sure that, for example, there's development outcome. What do I mean by that? Will it have impact on the economy? Will it have a multiplier effect? Will it have all the points you raised, an impact on will it catalyze private sector investment? Is it going to crowd in more private sector investment? So we focus on additionality. So if we are going to do a transaction and it can be done by any other pure private sector banks, we don't do it. And that comes from our shareholders, our board. So we have to make sure that any investment meets those objectives. Of course, it has to be commercially viable. We look at risk, we look at environment, climate, etc. In terms of how we cooperate with other DFIs, on the project cycle, we have what you call post-evaluation. We have what you call evaluation cooperation group, which was established by OECD. So we try to coordinate and harmonize how we measure, how we evaluate it, what kind of indicators, when do we determine that the project has been successful? By successful, we mean, has it been successful in terms of business case? Does it have, did it influence the policy environment? Did it create jobs, etc., taxation, name it. So that's what we do. And we really focus on SDGs. For example, now with the this Africa Trade Area Initiative, we also make sure that any intervention we do, we try to measure. So upfront, we look at, is it going to contribute to regional integration? How is it going to impact the new Africa-wide integration? How is it going to impact infrastructure? We also have several initiatives. For example, what Andrew Mwewa said, we are looking at how do we exit out of these countries? Are they able to generate local revenues? We're trying to help them with capital markets development. For us, if you go, for example, if you go to the board and you have a transaction where you are doing a bond issuance and you catalyze capital markets and you create an environment where you are kind of you create a demonstration effect. That's a very big plus for us. So just to be brief, the points you raised are very valid. And as you mentioned, we are actually evolving. And whatever we do, we try to the extent possible to do some analytical work on a country level. It's not to the point of where we do impact assessment. Where we can, we do. Where there are sectors where we think there is need for more analytical and research specific for a specific sector, we do that. But of course, we are limited. Resources are not ad lib. So we are limited by resources. We are very selective in our intervention. And there is definitely a lot we can do. We have we feed into our research department. Our operations actually feed into our research department. Whatever evaluations, whatever lessons we learned, it's a whole cycle. So to the point, yes, there is a lot that can be done to enhance research, but we are trying. And again, to point out, we do ex ante or evaluation. We have a detailed, a very elaborate results framework where we continuously follow to make sure that what we planned at the beginning is achieved. And if it's not happening, what remedial measures can be done. So we have a detailed results framework, and most of the issues we measure are what's the development outcome, what's the impact, is there taxation, are there jobs being created, and of course the bottom line, is it going to pay back our money? So that's as far as the private sector window is concerned. I'm sorry I had to be quick and summarize because I am not talking on behalf of the bank. I'm trying to just give you a brief overview of how our private sector operations are run in the bank. Thank you.